Hello everyone, I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. Welcome to the match review of our 1-0 win over Bate Borisov, and I think the first thing I need to say is thank God for the post today. The woodwork really saved our lives today. They hit the woodwork 3 times in this game, and I kind of feel like I need to apologise to Bate Borisov because in the match preview last night, I was very confident, very positive, and obviously that backfired on me. And I've started to notice this trend this season where whenever I feel really confident and a bit cocky, it always backfires on me. So, I've learnt my lesson. I'm going to calm down a bit. But you guys, before I get straight into things, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Help me get more than 500 likes for today's video. And press the bell notification button as well to stay tuned to all things Blue Lions TV. And the first thing to talk about in the match review is the lineup. It was a very positive lineup. The first time we've seen Ruben and Barkley playing together. That whole left-hand side, with Emerson, Ruben and Hazard. I've been waiting all season to see them playing together. And did they perform amazing today? Not really. And I think the most disappointing thing I can say is that this was by far our worst game this season. We really weren't playing sorry ball whatsoever. I don't know what we were playing today. At the same time, when I'm critiquing the team today, I do need to realise, last season and under previous seasons, we've seen much worse football. So we do need to keep things in perspective. But really, everything was wrong in this game. Our passing was very slow, very pedestrian. Our pressing was very bad throughout this entire game. The team's shape was really poor as well. And really, there weren't many positives at all. I think the only positive is that, thank God, we got 3 points. And it's good that Giroud finally got his first goal this season. Now, I want to get Bate Borisov out the way first before I start talking about other more key important factors. And really, their entire game approach was what they should have done in the first game against us a few weeks ago. I mean, they were very diligent with their shape. They were very good at closing the spaces between the lines. They were pressing and closing down our players and harrying them. And they were doing everything that they weren't doing in the first leg against us. And maybe this team were a bit surprised by Bate Borisov's approach in this game because it was completely different from the game a few weeks ago. And maybe that's why a lot of players are quite complacent because they're thinking, we're playing against Everton on Sunday. I'm thinking about that game. I don't really want to pick up any knocks because, yes, I know that if we win this game and get the 3 points, we basically qualified. And let's be serious, even if we don't win this game, we're guaranteed to top this group anyway. Now, we definitely didn't help things in this game. For example, our passing was so slow, it was so pedestrian. We weren't playing the ball quickly enough. We weren't switching the flanks quickly enough to really disrupt Bate Borisov's defensive structure. And of course, against teams that are going to park the bus, if you're not spraying the ball quickly, you're going to make your lives much harder. And those first 45 minutes were probably the worst 45 minutes we'll most likely see this season. Everything was really bad. I mean, Bate Borisov hitting the post for the first time out of the 3 times in this game, really showing us, what? We do need to waken up a bit more now. We have to take this game more seriously. I feel that a lot of players are very complacent, and I think you could really see the complacency and the lack of effort at times in our pressing. How many players were really trying to, close their mound down and press as a unit. We were really seeing that in the game today. And I think one interesting thing as well was obviously it's the first time we haven't seen Kante or Kovacic in the game. And in a way, even though I think it's still a bit too early for me to say, but my gut's telling me that this game showed us why we can't afford to miss out on one of them in the team. I think that if you're going to use Ross or Ruben, I think they're both better playing as number 8s, but I think that they need that natural complementary player alongside them. Now, of course, Ross did mostly play down the right-hand side, and of course, you've got to realise when we play this system under Sarri, the midfield player that plays on the right-hand side plays more as a ball-winning midfield player. So a lot of times he is going to be dropping deeper. He does have to do his defensive due diligence, etc, etc. A lot of people might have thought, well, Barkley is much better creatively compared to someone like Kante. Surely if this guy is playing in this role in the team, especially when we're going to have about 70% possession throughout this game, surely he's going to look good and he's going to have those opportunities to show what he can do offensively. You would think that, but I'm always stressing the importance of being able to keep possession of the ball and playing in those tight spaces. And of course, Kante is so instrumental at helping us really press and actually help retain possession in the opponent's half. I don't know, I'm not going to be too harsh on Ross because it wasn't his natural role, but again, it wasn't a very inspiring performance. I think another person that surprised me with how poor he was Loftus-Cheek today. I think that these two didn't really complement each other as much. At the same time, I don't know. Realistically, we'd have to see them play a lot of games together, but the chances we're going to see these guys playing multiple games together this season is very, very remote. I mean, we're most likely to see that if there's a ton of injuries all of a sudden, which I'm not really expecting this going to happen. I don't think that Ruben was that great today. It was the first game I've noticed this season where, you know, his pressing wasn't as great, his tactical work wasn't as good. I don't think he was getting close enough to his men at times. I don't think that he was really harrying opponents as much. I mean, a few times, yeah, you know, he showed nice glimpses of skill, nice glimpses of technique. But even from that offensive point of view, I don't really think we saw as much. And I don't know if these guys will be the answer together in midfield. And I don't know, something's telling me that I don't really think these guys profit from playing together. I really think that you need a Kovacic or a Kante beside, because those two players are just better defensively off the ball and they're very good in the final thirds. But you guys, in the comment section below, let me know, who did you think performed better in this game today? Ruben or Ross? Anyway, the second half does come, and you know, we are looking good for a spell. I think, you know, we did end the first half pretty well, and I think we continue that form into the second half. And, you know, what they were saying on TV was absolutely right. We did need more width, and we were able to create that width when the guys, you know, were tucking more infield, leaving the flanks open for the fullbacks to make those overlapping runs. And I thought Emerson was actually decent today, I can't lie. I think he did put in a very good defensive shift as well. And I just like what he provides to us in the final third. And I don't know, whenever I see this guy playing, you know, he's just better offensively compared to Marcos Alonso. And I think it was a great early cross from him for Olivier Giroud. And that's the type of service that Giroud loves having up front. Those early crosses in the box where, you know, he can attack the ball, he can lose his marker. And it was a great header. It was kind of like a Drogba-esque header in a sense. I mean, great power from Giroud, and it was a great goal, and really just great play by Emerson. Anyway, it's good that Giroud gets his first goal of the season, but I did notice in this game in particular that with him playing up front, it felt much more static when we were trying to break down Bate Borisov. With Morata recently, his movement in behind has been great, you know, especially when he stays on the edge of a defender and tries to play in behind him. He's been doing really well at that, creating a lot of space as well. And I think obviously with Giroud, you know that the guy's not a very static forward, meaning that he's going to stay in those central areas. And really, the benefit you do get from Giroud is that you've got someone you can actually do layoff passes with and play 1-2s with. And, you know, he does help in the sense that he's able to create the spaces centrally. And that's because obviously a defender's going to stick on him. But, and I've said this quite a lot too with Giroud, you're not really going to get too much creativity with movement in behind. And in a way that kind of played against us throughout this game. I think that we really tried to force a lot of our play through the middle. Of course, naturally it makes sense with Giroud being the focal point up front. But he didn't have his greatest game in a sense. I don't think he was moving as much to really try and, you know, shift and really make it harder for the Bate Borisov defence. And with us trying to force everything through the middle, it was just playing into Bate Borisov's hands, and this is why we look so slow and rigid at times. Anyway, guys like Eden and Ruben go off. With Hazard today, it wasn't his greatest performance. He's just coming back. I think he's really focusing more on the game on Sunday, if I'm being honest. But, I mean, with this kind of game today, I can imagine Sarri telling him not to really exert himself as much because he was only going to be playing 50 to 60 minutes. So, in a way, I can't be too critical with his performance. Even though you're expecting more, with this game, it was really a chance for him to regain that match fitness and try and get some sharpness for the weekends. Even though Ruben wasn't amazing, it wasn't as if Ross was better than him, in my personal opinion. And, you know, we know that Barkley's going to play more games in the Premier League compared to Ruben. I don't know, it would have been nice for him to stay on and bring on Kovacic and really see what they could have done then. I think with Kovacic's introduction, I think with the dynamics of the game during that time, I don't know, I don't really feel that he provided too much of anything. But again, the context of the game was completely different at the time. We're trying to get those 3 points and seal out the win because, you know, it's kind of important we win this game. You know, it's better we qualify early, meaning that we can afford to do anything in those last 2 games. We can give a rest to some first team players that could need a rest, because when it gets to the Christmas time period, we've got 9 games in December, which is ridiculous. So a lot of players will need all the rest they can get. But it looks like in those final 2 games, I think that's when we'll see guys like Ampadu and Hudson-Odoi getting game time. Hudson-Odoi had about 5 minutes, but again, with such little time, what are you really going to be able to show? And really, to end this video, I think The key point from this game is that if we don't press, if we stop pressing as a team, we're going to look very susceptible, especially to counter-attacks, because again, if you're playing against a team with a very high line that's leaving spaces in behind, which isn't keeping their shape, being compact, pressing as a unit, then it's very easy to counter-attack through that. And for example, this was why Arsenal was struggling so much at the start of their season under Unai Emery. That's because their pressing wasn't on point. They didn't really understand what to do just yet, but you can see the key difference in their performances now. Now they've got better at pressing, but I find it kind of weird because we were showing great signs of development in this area, and over the past 3 games, it's been quite inconsistent. It hasn't been too good, and I think if you're Sarri, that's really frustrating you. That's really annoying you because you're thinking, you guys were getting better at this, but it looks like we're going downhill again. And one last thing as well, and it's quite surprising to say this, but maybe we missed Morata in this game. Now, I thought I never uttered this sentence throughout this entire season, but with his form recently and how he's been leading the line, I think one area I praised him for against Crystal Palace was how he led the press every single time. He was doing his job, he was harrying the opponents, he was getting in their faces, and he was really leading that line, helping us press high against Crystal Palace. You're not really going to get that same effort from someone like Olivier Giroud. But again, you know, it's just great to see just how far Morata has come over this past month. But you guys, that's going to be the end for today's match review. Please like, comment and subscribe in the comment section below. Give me your thoughts and opinions on this game. What stood out for you tactically? What disappointed you? Do you think we need to strengthen in certain areas of the team? Let me know below. You guys, I'm going to keep it moving. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.